Suggy, ooh, Suggy, and I am here with more Final Fantasy XIV. So very quickly, very quickly, before we jump into the story of 5.4, there is one thing left we have to do here, and the first. That's not the button. How do I get my UI back? Sylvia, has one more quest for us, and it's simply because we have done all the role quests. Celia seems surprised, though not displeased to see you. Admittedly, I do not know how this works, because the person that we are relying on for this quest, not to spoil it, but the person we are relying on for this quest holds about 6 quests that I have not done, because they are like the EX versions. Add me! It'll be easier. So I actually don't know how far in this quest we can go, and if we do it, I do not know where it's going to take me. Because you can see my name, and I'll have to stop stream. If it isn't a collie loitering about the stairs just like any old day. And here I was worried that you'd gone back to your world for good, and I was too late. It's just that I've been thinking about the crystals belonging to the Warriors of Light. I hear they ended up with you after you defeated the Virtues. I assume you have artbirds as well. One I turned into a lamp, and the other I gave to an Amaru. But I have the rest. Indeed, that does seem appropriate. His bond with Seto is deep and enduring. As for the others, I hoped you might be persuaded to leave them in my care. I just sent you a message, Q. You are playing today, but we need to do this first. It was only right that they, like Artbird, should accompany you on your journey to set this world back on its proper course. Yet you now have a home you must return to. Well, the first is theirs. After all they did to keep it safe, they deserve to be here to see what its future holds. Oh, don't make that face. I know it's a big decision, but it needn't fall entirely to you. There are others here who care for the Warriors of Light as much as you do, aren't there? We must talk to our role keepers. Now that's some damn fine ale. How should I order for you? I know you ain't much of a drinker, so 6, 7? What? You want help deciding the fate of Lamette's crystal and the others too? Does this place have any bigger tankards? Well, if you insist, Lurek owes me a drink, plural, so I'll make sure you join us. Maybe find Granson while I'm at it. You go on and wait with Sarag and Tainer. Order around while I'm out, you hear? Good to see you, Akali. What did you say that has Gyot so worked up? Oh, the crystals, eh? That does sound like a conversation worth getting everyone together for. Did Lurek really promise to pay for Gyot's drinks? That's a disaster in the making. Not just hers. Rounds for the lot of us. Might be the lad has yet a few things to learn about coin and the scarcity thereof. Still, I'll not turn down his generosity. Go and tell the barkeep we'll be needing food and ale for the table. Fine, but please try to exercise some restraint. I'll not carry you back to the room again. Here we are. How much of a head start did you get? Should I ask him to bring out the cask? I reckon we should hear Akali out first. Woo! you're telling me that the barmaid was one of Nilbert's companions, not to mention the Shadowkeeper, and from a different world? That's laying it on a bit thick. It certainly raises questions. Quite, such as how she retains her youthful visage. Not that. I had my suspicions about her. The other night I was at the counter, quaffing my ale, having a grand time, and next I realized I'm outside without a guild to my name, and it ain't the first time. It could only be the power of the Shadowkeeper. And not that you drink enough to fell a small army. If Akali says it's true, I'm inclined to believe it, which leaves us with the matter of entrusting the crystals to her. She's right that this was Brandon's home, and the others too, and it's home to the most important memories. Not all of them good, maybe, but everyone they loved is laid to rest here. I agree. Nalbert belongs here. Arbert's crystals would settle in this world. Limit would want to be near. I definitely turned her crystal into a lamp, though. Randa Ray as well, I think. She'd want to be with her friends, in the place that she loved. It seems we all agree. A toast, then, to the Warriors of Light. Drink up, I'm paying, and as bounty hunters, I expect you all to take proper advantage of that. I hate to disappoint, but I'm not much for alcohol. This juice looks nice, though. Oh, that's not... There he goes. How did you manage this? Twice the mess and half the time as the normal patrons, I swear. I overheard your conversation, by the way. Do you agree with your friends? These crystals are yours, Storykeeper. Their legacies are safe with me. You have my word. Thank you. I can feel them. Their memories. Why? Why, damn it? You're all just like Artbert. I betrayed you, I manipulated you, and still. You thought of me as a comrade, a friend, until the very end. We finally managed to clean up after you lot, for the most part. Perhaps next time we should set down a tarpaulin. Nevertheless, I am grateful for you entrusting these to me. And as long as I live, I will never stop sharing the true tale of the Warriors of Light, of my friends. I don't know if I can do this next round. I don't know what's going to happen to all those quests. The quest, The Hero's Journey, will now be made available. In order to accept it, yeah, you must have completed Chronicles of a New Era quests, which is the extreme version of every fight in Heavensward. Well, I have not done that on a collie. I will have that done. Not today. I thought so. I was like, this person has so many side quests. Do they just get pushed onto somebody else? And no, you have to do the EX versions. Yeah, well, because the character you need to go talk to has all the extreme versions, and then it will no longer be in that particular spot. I don't see why he can't just give them to me in the first. I actually thought, because they're not technically, I guess you lose all that dialogue, but I know he, holy shit. Where did you come from? I know he hangs out in the first after that, and I don't know why he couldn't just continue to hang. Like, you just get those from him in the first. But, I'll figure that out. Let's go to Revenant's Toll. I'll be able to get that done this weekend. For sure. I can get, like, I don't know if Q and I can do some of those probably solo. Or, I'm sorry, duo, but we probably can't do them all duoed. We would need, like, one more person. What am I doing? Alright, to the story stuff. Let me up in here. Hello, Miss Q. Hello. I thought that was going to be a little longer, but I have been barred from doing the content. I suppose we ought to take stock of the situation. By forestalling the 8th Umbral Calamity, we have unwritten history. The future now lies beyond my ken. None can say what awaits, but so long as we stand together, I doubt not that we can overcome all trials. We always have done so, have we not? I'm not going to show him anything. These guys are all the same. Kryle's eyes light up at the sight of you. Oh, greetings, Cully. Come to look in on our friends. Rest assured, everyone is quite well. I've been keeping a close eye on them and have satisfied myself that they are all in fine health. As a matter of fact, they're just about to convene at Dawn's Respite to discuss how best to use their pent-up energy. Let's join them, shall we?
Well, my friends, now that we have all settled back into our bodies, it is time we resumed our duties in earnest. Let us speak of our plans.
Ever since the Emperor's death, it's been one unsettling rumor after another. I have a mind to pay a visit to Garlemald to ascertain the truth of the matter.
A prudent endeavor. 'Tis of the essence that we establish the full extent of the threat, not least if it should prove that Xenos doth indeed orchestrate events from the shadows. In light of which possibility, I shall accompany thee on thy mission. Be assured that thou shalt find me more a help than a hindrance. Thou requirest another to imbue thine ammunition, dost thou not?
Assuming that's settled, there's something I've been meaning to look into as well.
Welcome back, everyone!
Lise!
Have you missed Lise, Miss Q?
You're fine now, right? No more headaches or keeling over?
That's right. We're fighting fit and raring to go.
The famous Lys Hext, former scion and hero of the Alamegan resistance.
I don't believe we've met.
Really? It's so easy to assume that all Archons are acquainted. But then I suppose your fields of expertise are rather different.
Grahatir, at your service. I have read much and more about your exploits, Commander. It is a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance.
Likewise. The others told me all about you.
Do not be so sure. Words scarcely do justice to the vital role he played in our victory in the first. A more dependable comrade one would be hard-pressed to find.
Oh, right. I did glance at the report. But I'd be lying if I said I understood half of it.
Delphino's like, well, that won't do. I'll simply tell you the whole thing again.
Well, well, that's a lot to take in. Just to be clear, this means we're not heading for another calamity, does it?
Shorn of their unsundered master's leadership, what Ascians remain shall struggle to see their plans to fruition. And though I would ever advise caution, I believe we may rest easy for a time.
I'll take that as a yes. Even so, I don't know what to make of this business about Hydaelyn and Zodiac being primals.
A difficult truth to bear, yes. But at last we understand the nature of our adversary. And if there are no further calamities, neither will there be rejoinings, meaning Zodiac will never regain his full strength. Even so, as the oldest and mightiest of primals, he remains a force to be feared. Though his is a power born of the desire for salvation, we have seen the havoc it may wreak. And it falls to us to ensure that it is never again brought to bear upon this star.
But tell us, Lys, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit?
What do you mean? Isn't seeing my long-lost comrades reason enough? Alright, there was one other matter. I have a message from the Alliance, and before you ask, yes, it's about the Empire. So, after Emperor Varys' assassination, it seems his cousin Nerva made a bid for the throne.
Oh. Okay. So Varys' cousin would be... There was Solus, and he had 2 sons. And from one of the sons came Varys. So the other son who got ousted, his son would be named Nerva. And I actually think that's who we've seen. So there's been trailers in the Endwalker, or I'm sorry, in the Endwalker trailers. There's a blue-haired Garlean name, or we don't know him, but there's a blue-haired Garlean running around, and he's quite prominent in some of the trailers. I wonder if that is Nerva.
The trouble is, he wasn't the only one with designs on it. And it didn't take long for a civil war to break out. And it's not just in the provinces. Early reports say huge swathes of the Imperial capital have been reduced to rubble.
Oh no, probably not. I bet he's the one in the black armor, actually. I'm sorry, I'm theorizing. I'm so excited for
The Alliance
Endwalker.
will soon convene in Alamigo to decide on a course of action. And we were hoping you'd come along.
Well, as it happens, Urianger and I were just this moment planning a little trip to Garlemald. and we should be grateful for any advice the Alliance can provide on how best to make the most of our visit.
To Alamigo, then.
Why don't you go on without me? There's something I need to look into.
Oh, forgive me. You were just telling us. What is it, if I may ask?
I want to find a way to cure the Tempered.
Of course. You think it may be possible to adapt the treatment you use to help those corrupted by the Sin Eaters?
I'm sorry, a cure for tempering? But that would change everything. Alize, consider yourself uninvited. Go and find us this cure.
I'll do my best. I was hoping you might join me. Don't worry if not, though. I won't hold it against you if you'd rather attend a stuffy meeting.
Sounds like you will hold it against me. Emmerich might be there. I like stuffy meetings.
Rest assured, there'll be many, many more.
Damn it.
Go on. Lend Alize a hand.
I'll come too. If you don't mind, that is.
I do.
Mind? I'm sure they would be glad of your company. Pray, enjoy your time together with your hero.
No. That's not... I mean, I simply thought my knowledge might be of some use.
We shall be on our way then. Godspeed.
Don't worry, I can say with complete confidence that Graha is dressed for anything. Okay. When I set out to save Helric, I think Gabu was always at the back of my mind. After having proved that the light corrupted are not lost, I am convinced that the same must be true of the tempered. Similar to those corrupted by the Sin Eaters, the aether of Gabu's soul has been rendered stagnant. And though the root cause is different, perhaps the solution is the same. It is by no means an unreasonable hypothesis, Alize, and it warrants full investigation. If there's even a chance that we can save Gabu, we have to try. But however much I'd like to race over to Limsa and set to work, there's no room for recklessness, not when a child's life is at stake. As I'm sure Bekla would remind us, we still know little and less about the soul. Any number of things could go wrong if we don't exercise due caution. And so, before attempting anything, we should learn all we possibly can about tempering. There's just one problem. Research into the condition has long since ground to a halt, and the combined work of many scholars involved doesn't exactly amount to a wealth of knowledge. Not of the modern scholars, perhaps, but what of their ancient counterparts? I know the Allagons took more than passing interest in the subject. And if what we seek is to be found anywhere, it would surely be at the Aether Chemical Research Facility. Were they experimented on primals and their worshippers, yes? Good thinking. I've never actually been there myself, but I did read the reports on Oz's law, which means we'll be needing an airship. Hehe, an airship, you say? Meet me in the northern bank of Silvertear Lake. I've got a little surprise for you. Oh, and come prepared to travel. I got turned around in Mordona. I flew too far up and didn't know where I was. I gave you the Bonanza, the Scion's very own airship. I built her as a company project with help from our friends at the Rising Stones and named her for luck and prosperity. Tataru, this is amazing. We'll be able to fly just about anywhere we want. Our garments were impressive enough, but to build an entire airship, I see the annals did not exaggerate the many talents of the Scion's fabled coinkeeper. I'd also introduced myself as your pilot, except the training didn't go quite as well as I'd hoped. But that's alright, because we've hired a capable fellow here instead. The Bonanza is equipped with a full complement of mana cutters, by the way. Feel free to use them to get around Aziz's Law. But enough talk, it's time to fly. All aboard! Tataru can do anything. Except drive an airship and be an Arcanist. She's so talented. Honestly, Sid would be jealous of the way that airship flies. Tataru has outdone herself. Anyway, here we are on Aziz's Law, and Alphinaud's report did not do the scale of this place justice. Grahatia surveys his surroundings with an expectant glint in his eye. This appears to be Helix, which means we stand in the Alpha Quadrant. To the east lies the Beta Quadrant, and... Yes, I believe I have my bearings. Though this is my first time on Aziz's Law, I do have some familiarity with the place thanks to the records in the Crystal Tower. Unless I am mistaken, this path leads to an aetherite, beyond which there will be an informational terminal. I suggest we begin our search there. The aetherite that's right there. The one that we can see, Rohati? Time for our authority on Alagon artifacts to show what he can do. And here is the terminal. A moment while I search the archives for references to tempering. There we are. Iconic corruption, an overview. That sounds promising. Indeed, let us see what the report has to say. Confound it. The contents appear to have been deleted. What? No, isn't there something you can do? Not from here, I'm afraid, but it may be that another copy of the report exists elsewhere. The question is where to look. It says here the report was written by someone named Owen. It is likely that he kept a copy? I would say it's a distinct possibility. Assuming that he was a researcher here, he would have had quarters on the Hemisphere. We can ascertain the details at Hemisphere Control. Let us return to the Bonanza and avail ourselves of the mana cutters. We will need them to reach our destination. I forgot you already have suitable means of transport, don't you? No need to waste time accompanying us back to the ship, then. We'll see you at the Hemisphere. so tired of looking at Azizla. I was working on my relic weapons, and I had 3 more that needed like 20 fates in certain Heavensward areas, and I just ground out the last 3, so I did 60 fates in each zone for like 2 days. And I'm just so tired of Azizla. So tired of looking at this gross looking world. It is very cool. But like, it sucks to fly around in. There's no good way to get to places. The men of cutters appear to be ironworks made, but I dare say Tataru will craft her own soon enough. If the late Owen did indeed have a chamber here, this note will be able to tell us its number. There, from what I can recall of the layout, it should be somewhere in the vicinity of... Warning, an evacuation order is presently in effect. Entry to Hemisphere is not permitted at this time. Foiled again. In all likelihood, the order would have been imposed during the 4th Umbral Calamity, and I doubt it will be lifted in the near future. Energy level critical. Returning to base for recharging. Well, surely there must be some other way to gain access. Force, for example? Ere we resort to that, I had an idea. Were we to send a surge of energy through yonder control mechanism, it should prompt the system to restart, releasing the locks. As for a suitable energy source, a concentrated lightning shard might suffice. Happily, I seem to recall that they are known to form at points of stagnant aether throughout the continent. You seem to recall? Are you honestly telling me that was in the records too? I am. A report sent to the capital mentioned that lightning-aspected aether was prone to pooling on the continent, resulting in surges interfered with equipment. A minor detail, I grant you, but in my role as caretaker of the Crystal Tower, there was no such thing as too much Alagon knowledge. Besides, my studies helped me to feel connected to the source, to home. I must have explored this facility 1,000 times in my mind, but to finally stand here with the two of you, it is more exhilarating than I can well express. Now then, the lightning shard. If I may, I suggest we split up and search the Beta Quadrant. Oh, but beware of the sprites. They are wont to manifest when the aether is stagnant. And now you're just showing off, which makes me think we should make a contest of this. The first to return here with a shard wins. What do you say? Very well. It would be my honor to come in third. It's not. I believe we will simply win by being the warrior of light. Nothing showed up on my screen. That was weird. Good job. Oh, I need to touch this. Bravo! That was quite a show adventure. Why, the spectacle proved so enthralling that all thoughts of the prize slipped my mind. I appear to have forfeited our little race. Congratulations, the lightning shard is yours. Very funny. Now let's get back to work. Forgive me, the scene so reminded me of our first meeting, I couldn't resist. Well, the contest continues, so you had better hurry back. But one last thing. Thank you, Akali, for bringing me here. Ooh.
9 months shocked face.
Thank you for the 9 months, Yak. 9 months. How was the 1 year badge coming, Miss Q? Really? Okay. I thought those were pretty long, but no worries. No, it's okay. It's fine. I know, it's fine. We will talk about it tomorrow. No, what? Wait, what? Okay. It appears Alizé had no luck, so victory is yours. Congratulations. Now then, may I have the shard? What is it that makes you so much better at finding things? What do you have that I don't? That is a question I too have asked myself on numerous occasions. I suspect we could both learn a great deal from Akali, and not only about the secrets of adventure, but come, we should attend to our mission. Yeah, and things glow and sparkle. Excellent. The system responded exactly as intended. We now have access to the Happy Sphere. Only one obstacle remains, the security systems within. Should they be triggered, they could make life rather difficult for us. In light of which, pray leave the rest to me. If I'm right, my royal blood should allow me to venture in unmolested. Assuming this place works like the Crystal Tower, yes. But if it doesn't, you'll be on your own. I want you to promise us that you'll get out at the first sign of trouble. I promise. Wish me luck. Well, nothing for it but to sit tight. I'm sure this Owen fellow was very learned, but iconic corruption and overview sounds like a studium thesis. We all had to write one. Lest you wonder, mine was about the combat applications of Aether. I'm nothing if not practical. Alpha Notes was more philosophical, of course. Political, dare I say it. He chose to write a lengthy discourse on our nation's duty to the world. A controversial subject, to say the least. He asserted that Charlian's knowledge should rightly be used to protect all life on the star, in direct opposition to the country's cherished policy of non-intervention. Being a leading member of the Forum, our father was not happy. At the time, of course, Alphino was utterly convinced of his views and would cheerfully argue to the death with anyone who saw things differently. By which I mean the rows were long. To be fair of him, though, he's since learned to be a little more open-minded, but deep down he still holds fast to that one belief, and I admire him for it. I should have liked to meet young Elfino. For what it's worth, my thesis concerned the Alagon civilization as depicted in folklore. Oh, you're back. I didn't know you attended the studium. I didn't. A thesis was required to earn my Archon's mark. My peers and the students of Valdician convinced me to write one with the promise of unfettered access to forbidden tomes. Though I considered it no more than a means to an end at the time, I will admit it was gratifying to have my efforts acknowledged. Good gods, an Archon's thesis. I shudder to imagine the work involved, but enough about that. Is this the fruit of your foray? Yes, Owen's archive node. It was waiting for me in his chamber. If a copy of his report still survives, it would be stored on this device. Shall we find out? Initializing, scanning for registered user. User not found. To proceed as guest, please complete biometric authorization. Verify. Authentication complete. Guest identified as member of the royal family. I am your most humble servant, Your Highness. It never ceases to amuse me. 'Tis but a pity the effect will not last forever. Doga and Uni said as much when they granted me this gift, but until such time as it fades, I shall use it gratefully. Search archive for iconic corruption. Searching. One item found. Iconic corruption. An overview. The report is locked by the author. Please state password. Well, go on then, Your Highness. Tell the nice node the password. Right. Let's see. Glory be to Elog. Long live Emperor Zande. Password incorrect. Please try again. Confound it. Come now, passwords are invariably short and simple. For instance, password. The notion that the password could be something so inane it would be laughable were it not dangerously stupid. Furthermore, your conduct in the presence of His Highness is grossly inappropriate. Know your place, handmaiden. What did this thing just call me? We're just spitting out words. Wild Rose. Password incorrect. Again, be warned that any further inappropriate behavior in the presence of His Highness will not be tolerated. Alright, that's... We're just being stupid, is I think what the robot's worried about. Alright, that's it. I say we dismantle it and manually extract what we need. Now, let's not be too hasty. A single misstep and we risk losing the report altogether. I believe this may be a task for Sid and his colleagues. If anyone can coax Machina into cooperating, it is them. I'm mad it's just like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then like $sign. Come, let us bear the node back to the Rising Stones. Meaning that is the 8th time they've had to change password. Yeah. Dad's password, and I can talk about this now because nothing that he had is still up and running, and even if it doesn't mean anything. When I used to have to get onto his Yahoo account for because that's where like the paths to bills were and stuff, and it was the name of his cat, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and I was like, Jesus. This is not. I don't think this is secure as you think it is. It's true. Fine, I'll let Sid try his hand first, but if that doesn't work, we're doing it my way. Grahatia seems eager to bear the node away. I should probably mention that I have yet to meet Sid since waking up. Remburus did send word to the Ironworks, but it appears our friend has been afield on urgent business. Yeah, he's in all the side quests. Nevertheless, I assure you my proposal to seek his help is no pretext, however much I might look forward to seeing him again, him and everyone. But come, let us be on our way. Look at him, all but running. How sweet. Still, it wouldn't do to keep him waiting, shall we? Back to the Rising Stones. I don't know, why did it do that? I take it you have news to share? So do I. I'm pleased to see your mission was a success, and in no small part due to the bonanza. Growl's back too. I wonder what was decided at the council. Wonderful news, Akali. Tataru contacted Sid on our behalf, and he is on his way here, even as we speak. While we wait, I should very much like to hear what transpired at the Alliance Council. Would you be so kind, Cryle? As you know, the meeting was convened to discuss how best to respond to the recent events in Garlemald. According to intelligence from our Doman allies, the War of Succession rages on, and the Empire remains without a leader. Amidst the chaos, the Imperial legions in the provinces have begun to move independently of the motherland. Our greatest concern to us is the third. Ilred. Our greatest concern to us is the third, a legion aligned with Lord Nerva. It appears that they have received substantial financial backing from House Brutus. That was Ashi's house, who was part of the Popularis, who is now Fandaniel. Back at it again. Brutus, aren't they the ones who took in Yatsuyo and Ashi? This bodes well. Xenos' movements, meanwhile, remain shrouded in mystery. We're hoping that Thangred and Arianje will be able to shed some light on his activities when they return. Until such time as they do, the Allied leaders feel it would be unwise to interfere in the conflict, and so, thanks in part to the Imperial withdrawal from Gemalt, they have decided to turn their attention to the primal problem once more. Working with friendly factions amongst the Beast Tribes, they hope to reopen dialogue and explore new avenues for peace. Given the timing, I suspect they wish to put their respective houses in order ahead of a decisive clash with the Empire. Whatever their intent, this is not a problem easily solved. The Lomincians, in particular, struggle in their efforts, and Alphino and Y'shtola have been called upon to aid them. So long as we are dealing with the tempered, I'm afraid no amount of dialogue will avail us. But if we can develop a treatment for tempering, then anything is possible. which is why we must succeed. And on that cheery note, why not make ourselves comfortable in Dawn's respite? I'll show Sidon as soon as he arrives. Yes. And yes, what Ishgard? Well, that's a slightly more complicated problem. Probably. In theory, I suppose we could do it. I believe the problem, whereas in the empty we have Eden redoing the path, like making the aether paths, like making them move away again. We have actual no way to do that on the source. We have no way of controlling the flow of which aether goes in the source. The only reason we can do it in Eden, in the Eden storyline, is because we have Eden. As important as Gabu is to me, I know only too well how much more is at stake here. A cure could change the whole world. Sid! Forgive us for not coming to see you sooner, my friend. As you may have heard, we have had our hands full. In our defense, you are up rather early. I was under the impression you'd be slumbering a while longer. Oh, I would have been, had you not fulfilled your promise. I still struggle with that idea. From where I stand, the secrets of traversing space and time seem exactly as unfathomable as they ever did. But if an alternate version of myself has already laid them bare, I dare say that frees me up to concentrate on other endeavors. Speaking of which, you wanted my help with something. What is it? Well, a treatment for tempering. And for the next step, you need to find the password to this Alagon's report. Just so, with nary a clue to guide us, we could be here forever and still not guess correctly, and thus we turn to you. Well, I'd love to say that we could help you, so I will. Once suitably configured, a Magitech terminal should make short work of identifying the password. I knew I could rely on you. Now, anticipating that it might be of use, I took the liberty of borrowing a tombstone from Rambroris. It contains an Alagon dictionary. Good thinking. I will transfer the information to a terminal and set it to work right away. Hello, Varkin. Looks like it's finished. Let's see. Freedom. The password is freedom. Huh. Short and simple, just as I said. Would you care to do the honors, Your Highness? I would, milady. Node, open the report entitled Iconic Corruption. An overview. Password freedom. Password accepted. Opening report. This report seeks to provide an overview of the mechanism by which icons corrupt and bind men to their will. The phenomenon we call corruption refers to the alteration of the ether of the soul. Said ether ordinarily exists in equilibrium, no one element being more prominent than the other. But when a subject is exposed to ether of an icon, this changes, their soul taking on the properties of the entity in question. By way of an example, exposure to the aether of the fiend Separat would cause a subject's aether to become aligned with the element of earth. As a consequence, the subject would attain heightened affinity with earth-aspected magics, as well as supernatural levels of endurance. Repeated exposure would further enhance these traits, ultimately altering the subject's very flesh. The changes undergone by the subject are not notably attributable to elemental alignment. However, further testing has determined that the subject's soul becomes umbrally charged or stagnant during the process. The stagnation of the soul has the effect of diluting the sense of self, rendering the subject vulnerable to the will of an icon, the thoughts of whom may come to consume their entire existence. In this manner do the corrupted become worshippers of the icon, their prayers serving to empower their entity. Having discerned the mechanism of iconic corruption, my colleagues and I have set out to develop a material capable of shielding one from its effects, an endeavor in which we were successful, albeit at great cost. In the course of testing, many of my assistants, good men and women all, fell victim to corruption. In accordance with protocol, they were summarily put to death. I subsequently submitted a proposal to investigate potential cures for the corruption, but it was rejected and deemed non-essential by Lord Amon. It is important to note that Lord Amon, I believe, I think a lot of people think that Lord Amon and Emmett Selk are one and the same, but Lord Amon was alive and well in the Crystal Tower, so that's not the same. But Emmett Selk was whispering into Amon's ear, and that is why, and it is funny that Amon has, despite this threat to the people, getting rid of tempering? Nah, because Emmett Selk was like, oh no, we don't want that. You don't need that here in Alagon. You don't have to worry about that. Though I knew it would be fruitless, I protested the decision, and for my impertinence, I have been stripped of rank and title, and will shortly be expelled from this facility. In all likelihood, this report will be expunged from the archives. Nonetheless, I record it in the hope that one day, someone will undertake to do that which I could not, and find a cure for the victims of iconic corruption. End recording. So not even the Alagons were able to find a cure, or rather, were not given a chance to do so. One cannot help but wonder what motivated Lord Amon's decision. More importantly, this confirms the stagnation of the soul is indeed the problem, and Angelo can remedy that. True, yet were we simply to reanimate a tempered soul, I fear it would do not to diminish the individual's fanatical faith. Indeed, it may very well intensify it. No, we would somehow need to suppress the primal's hold over the subject at the same time, or risk them ever remaining in its thrall. If we could make them remember who they were. But of course, memory transference. The process has the effect of compartmentalizing memories, separating them into manageable bundles, if you will. By adapting the technique, it may be possible to archive selective reanimation, and that is, limit the effects to only those memories that existed prior to tempering. Though though thus restoring the sense of self, we could theoretically drown out the incitements of false faith, which have come to dominate the individual's thoughts. I see. The theory seems sound, and our experience treating the light corrupted would help us to identify suitable memories for reanimation. But you are confident you can adapt memory transference as required. I seem to recall your attempts to do so while trying to bring us home accumulated in literal bloodletting. They did, you are right. Despite my best efforts, I could not recreate the mechanism, and I concede that the rather clumsy compromise I reached would not provide the basis for a cure. Then perhaps it's better that we consider another approach. Your doubts are understandable, but this time I believe we have reason to be confident. You see, nodes such as these were built with the ability to simulate magics, which leads me to believe that it may be capable of performing simulations of the transference technique. If so, we would be able to conduct years' worth of tests within the space of a few days. In theory, it would be no different from how we identified the password. But it'll take more calculating power, a lot more. I honestly couldn't say whether our equipment would be up to the task. Tell me, Sid, why do you suppose Owen locked his report behind a password? To keep it from prying eyes, of course. Why else? Wait, a password that could be guessed by anyone with leisure, and a dictionary wouldn't keep it from a person minded to look. No, he wanted this report to be seen by those who strive for freedom. Not unlike the members of a certain distinguished engineering collective. I believe their motto was freedom through technology, or some such. You two, round up as many Magitech terminals as you can find and bring them to the workshop. Right away, Chief! Things are about to get very busy. Lucky we have you to help, eh? Right, while Graha, Tia, and I configure the terminals, I want the rest of you to procure supplies, namely ceruleum to fuel the terminals and ice shards to keep them cool. The more we have of both, the better. Leave the ice shards to me. I'll round up some adventurers and go on a gathering spree. In that case, I'll trust Akali and Alize with the ceruleum. Here's the promissory note for each of you. Take them to the Sky Steel Manufactory in Ishgard and the ceruleum processing plant in Thanalan. The people there will give you what we need. Yours is a well-known face in the Holy See, I believe. If it's all the same to you, I'll head to Thanalan. I love this scene that's coming up. You stand in the Sky Steel Manufactory. What is it that you require? So you are after the ceruleum. In that case, please present the note to your to our engineer in the airship landing. He shall be glad to assist you. Airship landing is the fastest way to get to that is to go to the astrology guild. This part's very good. Ceruleum, you've come to the right man. Fair warning, though, the price has shot up on account of the uncertainty with the Empire, so I hope you've got the coin. Well now, a promissory note from the Ironworks. Don't see many of those. Not that it's a problem. It's as good as gold to me.
My friend! After the disappointment of not seeing you in Alamigo, what good fortune to chance upon you here of all places. As you may have heard, the Allied nations are making a renewed effort to address the primal problem. To that end, have I invited the chieftain of the Vanu to Ishgard, that we might together plot a course. Since the war with the Empire appears to be nearing its conclusion, I would also like to call upon Estinian's lance. Alas, he is, as ever, a difficult man to find.
He won't answer my calls. He leaves me on read.
I am informed he recently paid a visit to the Rising Stones. Should he happen to do so again, be sure to pass on my regards, won't you? But tell me, what business brings you to our fair city this day? A cure for tempering. You never cease to amaze me. Until now, our only hope has been prevention, our every failure irrevocable. But this would rewrite the rules of engagement. It could end the cycle of bloodshed.
This man will not stop screaming. It's so funny. He emphasizes on words, so he is acting more like Orshifon every fucking time we see him.
Very well. You shall have all the ceruleum we can provide, and an airship with which to transport it.
I think you need to get approval for those sort of decisions. It's true.
In this matter, you may count on Ishgard's full support.
It's true, we haven't seen Emmerich since... Oh yeah, since the last patch of Stormblood. There's a really good scene. I don't know if it's possible to see the scene anymore if you weren't part of the Ishgard restoration, because that was all wrapped up by the time we were even able to participate in it, because you had to defeat Nidhogg in order to get there. And as you go through like the story quests and stuff, you're working actually with Francel.
Who would have thought ceruleum weighed so much?
I don't know if you remember Francel, but he's the lad in green that you save in A Realm Reborn. But he is like the main NPC for the Ishgard restoration, and he is like you work very, very closely with him over the course of all these patches, and you actually do a duet with him on these two grand pianos that are like, one's black and one's white, and they're like together, and you do a duet. And it's a very pretty duet, and Emmerich comes in after it's over, and he's like, "What'd I miss?" It's like, oh, they were just playing a duet together, and like Emmerich with his impassive face was like, "I'm so sad to have missed that," and I can feel him screaming on the inside that he has missed. Just like punches the wall. He's like, "I'm so happy for you." It was so funny. I love Emmerich. They couldn't even let him watch the duet. This man is just untold suffering.
Serves me right for being stubborn, I suppose. I should have just done what you did and accepted help.
Why did you carry it, Alice? What the hell is wrong with you?
Good work, you two. This is all we asked for and more. Quite a lot more now that I look at it.
Now this room is entirely explosive.
Lord Emmerich, eh? And entirely by chance. Ha! Some people have all the luck.
Sid's voice has changed for like the 5th time in Final Fantasy XIV.
We have also succeeded in configuring the terminals, thanks in no small part to our able assistant.
It's been a while, hero. You seem surprised to see me. Lest you misunderstand, I've no interest in such things as cures for tempering.
I think this man is the same, though.
But if you mean to achieve that which eluded even the storied Allagans, it seemed plain that you would require my expertise. And so it proved. Is that not right, Garland?
For all the effort it took to track you down after your latest disappearing act, you could find the cure for death, and it wouldn't be worth the trouble.
That wasn't the only reason I agreed to cooperate. I'm reliably informed that Garland and I are destined to unravel the secrets of travel not only across dimensions, but through time.
That's true, actually. In the short story, they talk about after the 8th Umbral Calamity and how the world is like falling to pieces, and they talk about a lot of the Ironworks people, you know, ran off with tools and supplies, and like not very many stayed. But surprisingly, Nero came back and stayed and helped Sid on this whole situation. He didn't worm his way out. He actually stuck by him and was a huge help to getting Graha awake, even though he did not live to see the fruits of his efforts.
Doubtless the lion's share of the credit lies with me. 9 parts to Garland's 1. And this research will be a stepping stone to that illustrious achievement.
9 parts.
Very well then. I'll do 1/10 of the work. Just the part that's beyond you.
Whatever you say, Garland.
By the way, the healing applications of crystal foci proved very useful in getting us to where we are now. I must remember to thank Mikoto. Right. If everyone's ready, let's begin.
You could replace whatever nonsense they were babbling about with like literally any modern day topic that you would that couples would fight about, and it would be exactly the same. It would fit perfectly.
All appears to be in order. Now, we just have to wait for it to find us our magic. Why not take this opportunity to put your feet up? This may take a while.
Sid, I don't like your new voice. Yeah, it's real bad. New Sid voice. I don't think anybody did.
Damn it. It's overloading.
She won't last much longer!
We'll have to shut it down.
Wait! We're close! So very close!
Oh!
This room is extremely explodable.
Well, this is going swimmingly.
I love Heroes so much.
Please, a moment longer. I beg you. There! I was able to memorize the magic before it faded. It still needs to be put to the proof, but I believe we have our cure.
It's just as well. She'll never run again.
The fault is mine. I'm sorry.
Don't be. It may fall short of dimension hopping, but a cure for tempering is not to be sniffed at. This, my friend, is a world-changing discovery. One we're proud to have had a hand in. A few Magitech terminals are a pittance to pay.
Thank you.
Well, we've done what we can. The rest is up to you.
So we finally have it, the cure for tempering. All that remains is to put it to use. I shall be praying for your success on the front lines. In the end, we didn't have to pay for the terminals, which is great for us, but I can't help but feel for my counterpart in the Ironworks. Alas, the Ironworks crew couldn't linger longer. Far too much to do. Yet brief though our time together was, it was bloody good to see them. Alize has only one thing left on her mind. At long last we have our cure. In theory, at any rate, we cannot be certain until such time as we put it to the proof, but I am quietly confident. Well, if we're to test it on someone, then I suggest Gabu. His symptoms are relatively mild. As long as you exercise due caution. Yes, as long as we exercise due caution, it will be fine. Without further ado then, let's make for Limsa. We've kept Gabu waiting long enough. I think it's straight to Limsa. Because I know Gabu isn't, is somewhere else. Oh no, he's technically with Maelstrom Command. Well, this is the moment of truth. I'll have our host bring Gabu to us at once.
Apologies for the wait.
Gabu, have you been good?
Still no change, I'm afraid. He just stands there in silence until we move him.
It's all right now. We're going to help you get better.
Fancy meeting you here.
Alphino Yushtola! I thought you were attending to primal matters.
We were, and came here for a meeting on the subject. Certain pirate factions did not deign to attend, however, and it was cancelled.
We had resigned ourselves to having wasted a journey when we chanced to espy you. Could it be that there has been progress with the treatment? Using Magitech terminals to formulate the solution. I would never have contemplated such an approach.
So this new magic, adapted from memory transference, would be used to purge the subject of their fanatical faith, while Angelo would be responsible for reanimating the ether of their soul. Yet I wonder at the practicalities. If one were to reanimate the soul first, it would only serve to exacerbate the tempering. Conversely, a stagnant soul would not respond to the effects of the magic. Would both need to be performed simultaneously?
Ah, nothing escapes Master Matoya's inquiring eye. As you say, both must be carried out simultaneously. And thus, I propose to imbue Angelo with the tempering treatment in much the same manner as I did the spirit vessels.
His little frown.
By doing so, we also spare Graha the trouble of casting spell after spell. It's really rather efficient.
Be that as it may, certain difficulties are unavoidable. The imbuing process will still require no small amount of ether. And, as I can no longer draw upon the Crystal Tower's stores of energy, I will be compelled to rely on those of others.
Well, I, for one, would be glad to assist.
As would I. Since the resumption of our duties, it has been naught but stuffy meetings, and I have ample ether to spare.
Excellent. With your permission, then, let us begin. Yes, this will do. And now, it's my turn. Tis done.
No small amount indeed.
Well, we seek to go where even the Allegans did not. It was never like to be easy. The rest is up to you, Alize. The treatment itself will take time and focus, so we will need a quiet room. I'm sure our hosts can spare one. I will go with her. It may be a while before we return, so I would ask for your patience and your faith.
We'll bring Gabu back. You see if we don't.
'Twould seem our part is played. Let us find a place to recuperate while we wait for news.
Alize, I will succeed. Alize will succeed. I am certain of it. We need but have faith. Well, it seems this is as good a spot as any to have a rest.
For years, Eorzea has labored to find a solution to the primal problem, without success. Any hope that tempering could be reversed faded long ago. I myself had given it up as impossible. given up on the tempered and the light-corrupted alike. They were problems to be tolerated, or else eliminated, I believed. And to think otherwise was pure naivety. Childishness, even. But Alize refused to give up. She struggled and she struggled. And her efforts were rewarded with a way to bring back Halric. And now countless others may no longer be beyond salvation. However much we bicker, I have the greatest respect for my sister. Had I half her stubbornness, nay, her unwillingness to accept the status quo, I would be a far better person. A far better scion.
Don't tell me, tell her.
I should, I know. Yet, despite my good intent, I have the feeling that I would only succeed in incurring her ire. Alize, are you all right?
The treatment. Did it work?
Oh, I'm so glad to see you all. Delighted, happy, glad.
Gaboo!
All this time, my mind was filled with thoughts of Great Father Titan. But I never forgot about Mother and Father. Always, they were in my heart. Constantly, ever, always. So I tried to focus on their faces. Theirs and yours. Alize's and everyone's. And I found that I could remember. One thing, then another, and another.
Your hopes reached Gaboo. They helped him to hold on.
I'm so proud of you, Gaboo.
I couldn't have done it without you, Alize. Can you help the others too? Cure them, heal them, help them?
Yes, we can. All of them.
Without wishing to dampen the mood, I feel compelled to add certain caveats regarding the viability of the treatment for general use. As you know, reversing the effects of tempering demands a profuse amount of ether. And while Alize was able to heal Gaboo alone, I fear the same will not be true for those who exhibit more advanced symptoms. Moreover, the treatment's effects are limited to the soul. It offers no succor to those whose very flesh has been altered through prolonged exposure to a primal's influence. All of which is to say that we cannot save everyone.
Maybe we can't, or maybe we can. No one gave us a hope of saving Gaboo, and yet here we are. We must find a way to treat as many as possible.
Then, the next logical step would be to produce a veritable army of Porkses, would it not? Granted, it seemed a simple enough process in the first, but I suspect it will be different here in the source. Not that I am any authority, of course.
Yet there is an authority on familiars to whom we may grudgingly turn. She's stubborn, haughty, eccentric, irascible, laconic, annoying. And her name is Master Matoya, the real one.
I have to go now, Gabu. But the people here will look after you, all right? And I promise to come and visit you again soon.
All right. Thank you, Alize. Thank you.
You finally saved Gabu. We did it. We brought Gabu back. And if I have any say in the matter, he'll be the first of many. Alice will be exhausted from her efforts, but you wouldn't think so to look at her now. If she's ready to press on, then so am I. You may recall that in order to procure the ingredients for Angelo, we had no choice but to surrender ourselves to the whims of the Pixies. But I should have done so with far better grace had I known that what we would go on to achieve. The trace of a wry smile is visible on Y'shtola's lips. As she will be at pains to remind me, I have not paid Master Matoya a visit since returning from the first. But this seems as good a time as any. Come, let us make for her cave. I don't know how to get out of here. I know, I'm a little turned around, but it's over here. It was dark and I was like, I don't recognize this place. I was incredibly all turned around. I hate when I teleport there and it turns me like that particular way, because then I'm like, I have no idea where I am. I need to be looking at the crafting station. If I'm looking the other way, I have no idea where I am anymore. It's been some time since Master Matoya last saw Y'shtola. What a lot they will have to talk about. Do you remember, when we last came here, it was to find out why the others had collapsed. If someone had told me that they had been whisked away to another world, I simply would have laughed in their face. Yeah, you live and learn, eh? Master Matoya is something of a legend among Archons. I very much look forward to meeting her. If not the dressing room, if not the dressing down, I am liable to receive for my inept attempts at summoning you. I take it you are all ready to bear witness to the joyous reunion of master and pupil? Very well.
Nary a word from you all this time, then you bring every man and his pirogo with you. Did no one teach you any manners, girl?
They were too busy teaching me etherology, Master. Jesting aside, I wanted to be the one to express our gratitude. I am told you spared no effort to sustain our bodies while we were away. and for that, we owe you our lives. Thank you.
You were gone so long. I was starting to think you'd set your heart on staying.
It wasn't easy to leave, as it happens. Seldom does one have the opportunity to study other worlds, and I would not have minded extending my stay by a handful of years.
Ever the scholar. Y'shtola dedicated herself to studying ancient civilizations of the First, befriending a tribe known as the Night Blessed in the process. There she took on the name of Matoya and won the respect of all the children of the forest.
I merely adopted an alias in accordance with the custom of my hosts. Yours just happened to be the first name that came to mind.
Alphino is so stupid.
You mean to tell me you went gallivanting about using my name and only bother to visit when you need a favor? And don't pretend you don't. I taught you long enough.
Indeed. And devoted pupil that I am, I could not fail to recall my master's sage advice. When the answer eludes you, look to the wisdom of your elders.
You there. Were you going to introduce yourself?
How remiss of me. Grahatir is my name, and I am proud to call myself a scion. I too wish to offer my gratitude for your invaluable aid in sustaining the Archon's bodies, as well as my apologies. It was my inexpert summoning spell which endangered their lives in the first place.
Ah, yes. The one bent on digging up the mysteries of Alag. Old Galaf used to speak of you. And Kryles told me all about your recent exploits. Do you have a bad back or something? At ease, boy. Whatever mess you've made, I'm not in the habit of dwelling on the failings of the younger generation.
You are too kind. I've also heard much and more about you, Master Matoya. 'Tis an honor to finally make your acquaintance.
Well, that's more than enough pleasantries for anyone. Tell me what you want. I haven't got all day. So that's the way of it. It should be a simple enough matter to make the familiar. The magic, on the other hand.
Ah, that you may leave to me. Being the only one possessed of royal blood, I alone can imbue the subject with the necessary magic.
So I just need to create porxes with the power to stir the soul. Just, I say. Though we're talking about a veritable herd of the little buggers, we'd collapse before we reached double figures. But if I could get a familiar to create the familiars, a mother porxie, as it were. Seems I haven't seen the last of that moldy old hole after all.
Moldy old hole. She really must mean, miss the place. In case you've ever wondered, Elfino got his innocent streak from our mother, and it can be rather endearing, even useful in certain situations. But most of the time it just makes me want to shake him. Poor Y'shtola. A porksy that produces porksies. What an inspired idea. By the way, Cully, do you think I misspoke earlier? I assure you it was not my intention to embarrass anyone. Where does she mean, do you think? Some manner of hidden workshop, perhaps? Alright, off to my old workshop then. Everything required to make your familiar is there. That may be, but no one has set foot in there since the Exodius. I dread to imagine what has become of it. Oh, there will surely be a handful of feral familiars, and mayhap a monster or two, but nothing to trouble the likes of you. You can consider cleaning up the place. Payment for my help. Fine, we'll do it. Good girl. Now, if there are no other objections, I suggest you run along to the Maker's Quarter. I'll send one of my poragos and ahead to let you into the workshop. You need only tell him who you are. One can't be too careful, after all. Off you go. Far. Might have almost been faster to teleport back to Idleshire and fly out the other door. Hard to say, though. Rogo the unwashed. Dirty frog. Greetings, Ribbit, and welcome to my good mistress's visit. Rogo is my name, and I am honored to be your guide. Within you will find a space dedicated to the making of familiars, along with a cavern wherein their requisite ingredients may be had. I must warn you, however, that the place has not played host to a single soul. Much less I accidentally clicked too fast. But rest assured, my brothers and I shall see to it that you don't lose your way. Now then, Ribbit, only say the word and I shall show you in. I assume Yak wants to come since Yak is here. Yeah. Are you all ready? Miss Q? Bug in my ear. Just hear it softly buzzing behind me, menacingly. Books. You make the familiars do it? I don't know, they're magical.
Right. To begin with, I need you to gather a few ingredients. Listen well to what the Porogos say, or you'll wish you had.
The other rabbit in here looks like my friend's Vera almost. They're wearing the same top and they had green hair, and I was like, oh shit, it's Okenna. Remember, all AoE. No, you still have. I'm pretty sure you still had aggro on him. He just wanted to start shit with the red mage. I want to AoE. Son of Ziggy! I don't know if you remember Ziggy Stardust in the Anti-Tower. Yeah, you're hurting. Get the mud man. So these balls are gonna tether to you. If you look behind you, there's gonna be these whirlpools. You are gonna want to aim your ball that's tethered to you into one of those holes. No, you were actually fine where you were. And then you hit me with your ball and didn't. So you're tethered to a ball, right? You need to aim that ball in a way that it will go into the hole. No, it's gonna just hit you. Happen again, but this time 2 of the holes are blocked. Oh, a belt for you. I am pretty sure that it's going to be better than what you are currently wearing. Finally, some gear for carving. Well, you need on it, so it doesn't matter what you rolled on it. Let's see, 480 is this gear? 485. So it's better. That's because you don't use your ranged attack to pull, which causes you a lot of problems sometimes. Yeah, and then you do your AoE. Yep. So do you see to the side, there's the 4 circles on how a square pattern. Oh, that's a tank buster. Please mitigate properly. Okay, so you see to the side of us, there's 4 of these. One of them is not going. We want to stand. Yep. Come on. want to get on this one? This one? So, fun fact, if you miss getting up here, you die. That will kill you instantly. Over here. Missed you. Buster, please mitigate properly. A little bit better. That's for you. Yep, whatever on your new stuff. No, I blood lilied the one and pulled aggro off of it immediately. Yeah, you don't AoE when there's only two, but I picked just like I just tabbed on the one, I blood lilied it, but it wasn't the one you were attacking, and it instantly aggroed onto me. That's what happened. Yeah, I saw the line go to me and I was like, that's fair. I didn't mean to do that. You need to get out of there because the AoEs happen. What? Oh, the frog. Okay. It parts the sea. But come and look at the... Now we gotta go through the portal. Oh yeah, so we've been gathering the ingredients, like the sand and the heat and the... And we made the big porksy.
Right then. Let's get this over with.
Oh, Yak thinks they know the tank buster, so minced meat is the attack that you want to mitigate.
Newborns are wont to be difficult. Sure, who's in charge?
The mother of all porksies. Wait. Oh, there was a little porksy there, but it's gone now. Okay. Yep. Run to her. All the way up against the wall in the middle. And back up a little if you need to be in the circles. There you go. I know. Back up. Now run along this wall. Is that where it gets? And don't stop running. And move out of AoEs. So if you failed that and got pushed to the pulled to the porksy, you die instantly. Yep. And every time you get hit by an AoE, you go back quite a bit. Piggy's gonna toss us up. Look where the arrows are pointing. So we want to go towards the piggy. This way. busted? Hey. Very good. We kicked that child's ass. It's just a baby. Womp. Always samurai. The red mage was very nice. She was trying to explain mechanics in the end.
There we are. Quite tame.
Then all that remains is for me to imbue her with the magic. My friends, I'm afraid I must trouble you for your ether once more.
I like that we don't help. We are like chock full of ether, and we just are like, not my problem. Well, Matoya's old. She doesn't have to help anybody.
That should suffice.
Good. Let's set her to work then, shall we? I want to see some porkses. Assuming, that is, someone can spare the requisite energy. A mere drop in the ocean for the great sorceress Matoya, I dare say.
Ishtola will never live this down. And it's all Elfin's fault. Babies.
Excellent. Our very own litter of Angelos. And we can make as many more as we want, simply by providing the mother Porksy with additional ether.
I will require a moment before I try again.
It's still hard work, but a damn sight more efficient than making them one by one. Thank you, Master Matoya. Everyone, we're a step closer to our goal.
Distributed amongst the allied nations, they should do much to facilitate closer dialogue with the beast tribes. And given their present travails, I believe our friends in Limsa Laminsa should be the first beneficiaries.
Agreed. Though I must leave this errand to you. I doubt my legs will carry me out of the cave, much less to Vilbrand. Thank you for taking the lead in gathering the ingredients. I expect you would benefit from a rest too.
In addition to the Porkses, I trust you've gained an inkling of how much effort goes into the creation of familiars. Or mayhap you attribute your struggles to old age?
If I said yes, would it persuade you to treat me like an adult?
Not with that pertness, it wouldn't. Anyway, assuming you have no other favors to ask, I shall be leaving.
Lest you wonder, Master Matoya has returned to her cave with his stroller. They are peas as in a pod, are they not? Alright, let's take this quest, but then we will call it there because we are touch over time. I just don't want to have to fly out here because it's insanely inconvenient. Alphino is eager to deliver the good tidings to Limpsa Luminsa. Well then, my friends, let us return to Limpsa Luminsa and deliver the good news to the Admiral. A word to the officer in Bulwark Hall should be sufficient to secure us an audience. Alright, and that is absolutely gonna be it for us today. And we will continue. We'll definitely finish Patch. What is this? 5.4 tomorrow, and then maybe Emerald. And then Eden on Thursday. Now, Eden might take us the whole length of it, but we are nearing the end and just in time too. So I think maybe we'll definitely finish in time. So mid next week, I think we will be done with it. You will be all caught up in time for the Indie Walkies. Are you excited? Yeah, do that. Pre-order it on Steam because you have yours on Steam, right? Okay, so make sure you pre-order it on Steam and not the Square Enix store. But yeah, make sure you get that done because if you don't have it pre-ordered, you will not have early access, which means you cannot play with us come the 3rd. So you've got to get it done. Do it now. Okay. Spend your $60 immediately. But thank you so much for being here. I will actually be back in an hour and a half. And I am going to do... It is my 1-year stream anniversary. So I'm going to be doing solo Palace of the Dead runs, and we are just going to hang out and have a good time. The adult sippies will be on the table, which I'm sure will make my solo Palace of the Dead runs even better. I'm sure those will go even better. I will be stronger than ever before. So I hope to see you there for that. And if you cannot be there for that, because I know it's much later than my usual streaming time, thank you so much. It's been a year to the day, and this channel has grown. I don't know, I actually never thought it would get this big and that I would be an affiliate or anything like that. So thank you so much to everyone who is here. Whenever you can be here, I appreciate it so very much. I hope you all have a very lovely evening, and I will see you very, very soon, if not for the next stream at 10 p.m. EST, then tomorrow for Spiritfarer at 2, and more Final Fantasy XIV at 6. Goodbye, and have a lovely, lovely evening.